Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel. It has been a while since I've made a video, so I am stressing out. I don't know how to talk to a camera, I've completely forgotten, but I just wanted to jump on to say hi and to give you a quick little video about my rehab progress and how I've been recovering from my 5th hip operation. My first hip operation on my right side, but my 5th overall. For those of you who don't know, about 7 weeks ago, I had a hip replacement on the right side of my body. I have acetabular retroversion, which means my hip sockets were facing backwards, and so it was causing arthritis and a lot of fluid buildup in the joint. It was making it pretty painful to just live life, to walk, to go to the gym. But now, hopefully, kind of on the road to recovery. As you can see, I'm walking around. I got no crutches. And I just wanted to share with you guys a few of the exercises that I've been doing throughout this process. So if you're going through something similar, then maybe it'll help you, give you a bit of an idea of what to expect. But I also think that this is just such a great reminder for all of us gym bunnies and people who love to get in lifting weights, that there are going to be setbacks. There are going to be times when you're not moving the most amount of weight, or you're not being as active as you'd like to be, and that's okay. It's okay to honor your body with where it's at. It's okay to give yourself grace and to let yourself rest when you need to. You're not a bad person if you can't get to the gym more than once a week. You're not a better person if you can get to the gym 5 or 6, 7 times a week. It doesn't affect who you are or your worth. And oh my gosh, look at that sun coming through. Beautiful. I feel like I look like sunshine in this beautiful orange dress, so the sun coming through is gonna fuck with the lighting, but oh well. So for the first couple of weeks after my hip replacement, the exercises were pretty simple because I was bed bound. I was on bed rest essentially. So what my exercises looked like were some hip flexion, some knee extension, so moving just in the bed basically, or sitting on the edge of the bed, moving my leg up and down. I was also given exercises of shifting my weight from side to side to practice moving over into that hip abduction and hip adduction. And that was just about getting some movement back into the joint. It was also just about keeping my body moving so that the risk of blood clots were less. Another standing exercise that I had was a standing hip abduction. And truly, I have to say, I had a lot of pain in the first couple of weeks because they really changed the alignment of my hip as well as giving me a new joint. So a lot of the muscles were really tight and they're trying to figure out where the fuck they're supposed to be. And so I didn't do as much of those exercises as I probably should have, or that I would have liked to do, but it's okay. I physically couldn't, I couldn't move, so we move. And following that phase, my next round of exercises were a little bit more intense, but still pretty stationary. So I had a prone internal and external rotation exercise, and this was banded. So it meant that I was lying down flat, and then I was moving my hip again through all ranges of motion. It was pretty stiff to start with, and honestly, the band was pretty helpful because it kind of pulled my hip into some more extreme ranges of motion. I'm gonna show you the video and you're gonna be like, that's not extreme. I'm gonna be like, babe, it was extreme for me. And it was about 2 by 15 of all of these exercises that I'm talking through. And with that, I was doing calf raises. So I've got friggin' killer calves right now, guys. Look at that. Oh, yum. Lots of calf raises throughout this whole process. And I've also been doing some side-lying hip abductions. The first time I tried these hip abductions, I literally could not move my leg more than about 2 centimeters up off of my other leg. It wouldn't go. In terms of progress, even though it was painful and friggin' slow, you can clearly see that progress has been had. I mean, oh, the sun is back. I'll step back. In terms of progress, you can clearly see that it was happening because I went from not being able to move that leg up at all to being able to raise it as high as I feel comfortable. And so with that, I was biking every single day when I was in Hong Kong, and I was also getting to the gym. And throughout my gym, I was doing a lot of lifting, just machines mostly, because I couldn't carry the weight. I was still on crutches at about 4 weeks in. Just kind of got off crutches at about the 5-week mark. So I was biking for about 20 to 30 minutes each day, reading my Kindle as I was biking to keep myself entertained. Because I'm sorry, but people who just sit on a bike for 20 to 30 minutes, you guys are psycho. You are stronger people than me. Maybe it's ADHD, maybe it's Maybelline, I don't know, but I can't do it. I couldn't sit still without looking at something or doing something. It was also at this point that my rehab from the physio changed a little bit. So it became standing up exercises. It became twisting to strengthen my external rotation on one leg. It became hip dips off a stair to try and get some more range of motion back in that's similar to walking, because at the 5-week part, I was trying to get back to walking so that I could come and see Callum, who I'd been away from a month. Oh, devastating. That was devastating. I was literally crying. It was terrible. Have you seen that dog? Or am I just doing that meme by myself? You know the dog where the dog cries and he's like... I was able to do some glute bridges as well during this time, which I thought was another really good way of seeing progress, because again, I was going from not being able to move that far off of the mat to being able to lift my hips up as high as they needed to go, which I thought was fantastic because it was like a clear measurement of progress. Things are changing. Things are moving in the right direction. Even when the days where it didn't actually move that much, or there wasn't as big of a difference in the height that I was getting to, I could feel the difference. I felt like my hip was slightly less tight at certain points, and that was really helpful for me to see. So even though rehab can be frustrating, it's rewarding in those smaller moments like that. I've been moving into more gym-based exercises at the moment. And what that looks like at this stage is just going through hip hinges or squats and doing them without any weight and seeing how my body feels with that. The range of motion for my last hip replacement was one of the last things that came back. It wasn't the strength, I felt quite strong, but it was the range, it was quite limited. So I've noticed that my Romanian deadlifts or my hip hinges, I'm still struggling to feel comfortable at that bottom range, but it's definitely getting there and I feel like it is improving. With my squats, I am technically able to load them up now if I feel comfortable and without pain. I've actually got to the stage where I have added just about 4 or 5 kilos to my Romanian deadlifts. Still no weight with the squats. I'm still quite nervous. And again, at like the bottom of that squat, it feels quite nerve-wracking to me. So I have been doing box squats. I've been just slowly decreasing the height of the box each time. The big kind of problem with these gym-based exercises, for me at least at the moment, is that I am still putting a lot of weight on my left side or my stronger side, which I need to kind of be a more bilateral stance, right? I don't want to be loading up my left leg and then leaving my right leg with no strength or with no work to do. I've also been doing hip thrusts throughout all of that. I'm feeling positive about the hip thrusts. I feel like we're gonna get there. Although at the top of the hip thrust, I can feel like my left glute and it feels like a rock, like it is solid. And then on my right side, it's like jelly. There's like no muscle there. I remember after my 3rd hip operation, the physio said, "Oh, it looks like your glute has been scooped out by an ice cream cone." And I was like, bitch. You're right, it does. It looks like that. That's exactly what it looks like. So it'll be good to see some muscle slowly start coming back into my right glute. Alongside all of that, I've been gently adding some weight to exercises. Again, machine-based exercises, which people at the gym, I know I am a big advocate for free weights, but machines have their time and place. And when you're injured and if you're not able to control your body properly, they are a fantastic addition, particularly if you want to isolate some muscle groups. So for me, I don't really want to work my hip too much because I don't want to get too tired. So I've been doing leg extensions. They're feeling fantastic. It's making me feel like I'm actually moving some weight, which is great. And it's doing a lot for my confidence in that way. I started doing leg curls the other day. This one felt a little bit more unsteady, I'll say, but I think it's gonna get there. And I feel pretty happy with the progress that's being made there. And my last round of updates from my rehab exercises look like this. So it's kind of like a modified windmill, what I'm doing at the moment. I'm bending down a little bit, I'm shifting my weight over onto my leg, and then it's like a banded rotation to work that external rotation, get a few more planes of motion in there to try and strengthen my hip across all directions. I've also got the inverse of what I was doing previously with the standing rotation. So now I'm facing away from the anchor point doing that. I've also got some crab walks, which to be honest, I don't love crab walks. So I might adjust that exercise and do something a little bit more interesting. We'll see. And the most recent issue that I've been facing with my leg is that the hip flexor on my right side is really a bit irritated. It's been doing a lot of work. It's been doing God's work, truly. And it's kind of just a bit painful every time I have to go up a stair or every time I have to raise my hip up. I've been given some modified hip flexor strengthening exercises. It doesn't feel super fabulous. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is walking. And at the moment, I'm at about 6,000 steps a day. I can increase that by about 20% every couple of weeks, but it's really as it's tolerated by me. So if it's not tolerated, then I won't increase it. Been doing a lot of walking, and I think that's kind of made things a little bit more tired. So my rehab, I need to get back on track and I need to focus on it a little bit more, which is why I'm making this video, to hold me accountable. I feel pretty good overall. I have moments where I'm like, oh my God, I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting in bed all day. I'm sitting on the couch all day. Oh, I just need to move a little bit more. But in the grand scheme of things, I have had, as one of my clients put it, human carpentry done on me since 6 weeks ago, and it is okay that I take my time. I just wanted to make this video, again, to share where I'm at, but also to remind you guys that there are gonna be ups and downs in your gymming journey. You're not gonna be able to hit 10,000 steps every single day. Doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that you need to honor where you are at with your journey and give yourself a bit of grace. I say this as someone who's had a panic attack about this literally every day, being so stressed about where I am. So listen to the anxious queen over here, okay? It's gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine. The gym will be there, movement will be there when you're ready to return to it. It's okay to rest. It's okay. Do you think if I say it's okay one more time, people will believe me? It's okay. So that is it from me today, guys. I am so excited to get back into making videos. I really am gonna try to, because it gives me a bit of sanity, and I love talking to you guys. I've missed you guys, so I'm really excited. Thank you all for being here to support me on this journey. If you haven't liked and subscribed, I would very much appreciate that. My goal in life is to help as many people feel as strong as possible on the inside and out. So if you want to be a part of that journey, if you want to be a part of that community, we'd love to have you here. Have an amazing week ahead, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.